Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. Whew. Wow. Hold on. Hold on, my beautiful audience. People that's gonna listen to the replay. You know. Um. I want to thank God, who is the head of my life. I'm up dealing with pain issues this morning. But give me just 1 minute. I have got to do a sound check. Hold on. Okay. So we are fine. All right. Hello, Cello. Good morning. Happy Wednesday morning. I want to thank God, who is the head of my life. I want to thank him for allowing me to still be on this earth despite my flaws and even despite my pain issues. I am thankful to be amongst the land of the living. Whew, I'm up dealing with pain issues, but I'm good. So, this is like the uncomfortable conversation series, and that's setting boundaries. You know, when you set boundaries in your life, it's for your peace of mind and stuff you won't allow. Like in my personal life, I never played with women or people, with that B word. Don't come to me with that. We ain't addressing each other like that. Some people set boundaries or rules with people when it comes to their kids. Don't whoop my kids. If a person has set a boundary when it comes to their kids, don't whoop my kids. I discipline my kids. You call me first. If you're watching my kids and I tell you don't whoop them, you better not whoop them. If I hear you whoop them, I set my boundary. Then don't you get mad when I tell you no more. Or I don't want my kids around you. I'm from the old school. I've had a lot of them tell me, don't whoop my kids. Well, don't ask me to babysit. Oh, I don't know about timeout. I know about whoopings. If my boundaries are whatever they are, boundaries, they're supposed to be respected. It's not about what you feel, how they think, what situation. If a person has set a boundary, you should respect that boundary. You know, boundaries. You know, that's like when you don't respect somebody's boundary, it shows what an immature person you are. That's like telling a Jehovah's Witness who you don't know, who you know they don't celebrate holidays, to put up a Christmas tree. It ain't your house. You know they're Jehovah's Witness. You know they don't celebrate holidays. And then you come over. You know, you nitpicking. You still don't respect their boundaries. Why would you even mention that? Or why would you even mention, you know, my kids can't play with your kids because they can't go to a party? You still being disrespectful to that Jehovah's Witness because you know they don't celebrate birthdays. So a mature person would be like, we can still have a kids' day. You still not respecting somebody's religion nor their boundaries, which is still their boundaries. It's all in one. You know, when you disrespect somebody's boundaries or their stance, you really have no respect for others. You make it about you. It's not about you, okay? What it is a person has set a boundary. They made a stance. You're supposed to respect that. It's not about you. It's not about what you think, how you feel. That's like if a person says, don't smoke in my house. You say, I can't smoke cigarettes, but you smoke weed. It's not your house. You still want to give your input on somebody else's boundaries or somebody else's rules. And that's disrespectful because it's not about you. You don't have to convince somebody or make them think. If they set a boundary or a rule or made a stance, you're supposed to respect it. It ain't about you. They don't have to adhere to what you want them to adhere to or how you want them to think or live or whatever you want them to do. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Some people, it don't work like that. You set boundaries on a job, right? Hold on. You set boundaries on the job, right? You go to your job. You have already set your boundaries. When you started, you met all the employees and you said, I just come to work to do my job. I didn't come to work to make friends. Therefore, I won't be eating lunch with y'all. I won't be attending any social events. A person has made that clear. That's their boundary. They didn't come to that job to make friends. They come there to do a job. They didn't come there to have lunch with you. They didn't come there to mingle with you. So when you see them in the break room, since you don't want to respect that person's boundaries, you want to make it about you. Oh, they don't talk to us. No. Some people go to a job to do a job, not to make friends. Okay? They didn't come there. But since you are the disrespectful person that you are, you don't respect their boundary. You make it about you. Oh, they stuck up. They don't talk to us. They don't eat lunch with us. They think they better than us. No. They didn't come to work to make friends. They made a boundary. They're not going to start having lunch with some of you two-faced or four-faced people. They're not going to socialize with some of you. Hey, Ronan. Hey, Flying 22. Boy, you done changed your name again. What's up? What's up? They didn't come to work. They didn't come to a job, to go have drinks with you, and next thing you know, you the conversation piece at the job. But you mad because somebody, old head is in the house. How you be? How you be? What it be? How it do? So when a person sets boundaries, it ain't about you. It's about that person. They set their boundaries for their peace of mind. But y'all want to make it about you instead of respecting it. Old head is in the house. Where you been? How you living? Happy New Year. Happy, did you watch the Super Bowl? I mean, what you been up to? What's been going on? Are you okay? Glad to see you're back. Oh, you been here in the bushes? Oh, okay. All right, well, I'm glad you came out the bushes. Probably best to stay in the bushes because, I'm making stances and boundaries and, people ain't getting it, but I don't care. Yeah. And that's like, okay, boundaries on social media. If you make a boundary or a stance on what you don't want to discuss, what you don't talk about, it ain't up to nobody to try to convince you otherwise. They don't have to see something your way. Oh, okay, you love my uncomfortable conversations. Yeah. So like I say, people won't respect your boundaries or your rules. They'll tell you about your boundaries and rules. And it don't work like that. If I want my personal space, if you come over to my house and I tell you that room is off limits, that's like my room where I meditate or something, I don't need your ass to go in there. Your ass don't go in my room, my personal room. No, I ain't stuck up. It's my room, my personal space, and I've told you not to go in there. It's none of your business. It ain't about you. It ain't about what you think or how you feel. It's my boundary. Oh, I know. Yeah, I saw it. So, in boundaries, the key aspect of boundaries, they're to protect your mental health, ensure safety, and foster healthy, respectful connections. Boundaries can be physical, which means your personal space, emotional, sharing feelings, time-based, protecting your schedule, or material, protecting your belongings. If you tell somebody, I go to bed early, I go to bed at 10 p.m., or I go to bed at 9 p.m., you should not be calling that person at 9:30 unless it's an emergency or death. If that person has told you, I need my sleep, I go to bed at 9 o'clock, why would you call them at 9:30? And then get mad. And then make it about you. See, that's protecting somebody's, that person has set that boundary to protect their schedule. Okay. If you get into somebody's car, they set boundaries. Do not eat in my car. That means don't open your bag of food. Talking about you just want to eat one French fry, you want to drink a pop. Because I might have to suddenly stop. That pop might spill. You reach in that bag, something might spill on my floor. You're not going to pay. You're not going to pay for my car to be clean, my carpet to be clean. Maybe I don't want the smell of food. Oh, head, right. Then we got the money boundaries. You can help a lot of people. Ain't nobody gonna be there for you when you need them. I always heard a closed mouth don't get fed. But if somebody says, if I loan you this money, I need my money back at a certain date. I need it all in one whop. Because this how I'm giving it to you. Now, if you make the agreement, you ask somebody, can I borrow $50? And they said, I'll loan you the $50. Now, are you sure you gonna pay me on this day? Now, if you know, well, I'm on a fixed income, or I'm waiting on something, or I might do some side work, can I give you $25 one time? I mean, in a week, and then in another week, give you the other 25. But if that person says that they need their money back all at once, I mean, you shouldn't even ask for a two payment amount because they've set a boundary. Right? So the reason people set boundaries is they're based on personal values, past experiences, and need for safety. You know, and these are some examples of boundaries. I need to have my own space. I don't want to talk to you right now. I need my own space. I'm going through something. Or I can't talk to you about this right now. I've got to process what I'm going through. You should respect that person's boundaries. Because again, it's not about you. But y'all want to make it about you when people make their own boundaries. The emotional is, I can't talk about this topic right now. I need some time to process it. Or I don't want to talk about this topic. Or this is my stance on this topic. This is how I feel. This is how I feel strongly about this topic. I'm not going to see it your way. I don't have to see it your way. Okay, and then examples of boundaries when it comes to your time of work is, I check my emails in the morning. If a person tells you they check their emails in the morning or their voicemails in the morning, why would you send them one? If you sent them one at night and they've told you that they check their email or messages in the morning, you can't get mad. If a person says don't call me after a certain time, you don't call them. Hey, mouthpiece, how you doing? Boundaries, it's not, they're not intended to control or change another behavior. It's for that person's peace. Like, I set a boundary. I make a stance on something. You can't convince me otherwise how to feel, how to think. If I don't want to talk about something right now, I don't have to talk about it. If I don't want you at my house after 8 p.m., I don't have to, and I done told you I don't want company after 8 p.m., and you come over at 8:30, 9 o'clock, I don't have to answer my door. It ain't about you. If a person has set boundaries or rules, you should respect them. Especially if they have made those boundaries clear. If they said, we don't do this in this house, you don't go to somebody's house disrespecting their boundaries or their rules. We don't do this over here. You can go to some people's house. They ain't with all the cussing. They ain't with all of the drinking. They ain't with all of the loudness. Mouthpiece, how you been? Yeah. Yeah, we do. But there can't be too many boundaries. But what you do is you feed that person accordingly. But the only thing I'm saying is a simple boundary can be call me before you come over to my house. I mean, people don't like people to show up at their house unexpected. Back in my day, everybody went and visited everybody. They didn't call and stuff. But now, people will see you. They will be looking at the camera at you, ringing their doorbell, and they will not answer the door. And you will get mad. And why would you get mad when the person then told you, please call my house. Please call me first before you come to my house. Because really, you don't know what people are doing nowadays. People are on the move. They might be working out. They might be doing their meditation. It might be their me time. People don't make adjustments for people. People are doing what they need to do for their peace of mind. They're not just going along to get along anymore. Like I'ma just open my door. I'ma stop my workout. I'ma stop my walking on the treadmill. Cause once I stop, it's over with. I'm not gonna finish. I might have just started. So that means I didn't get my daily walk in. And I'm trying to lose weight. I hope you do, old head. I hope you come live with me. You can come live with me. You can come right on over here. Mm-hmm. This is what my living room looks like. We have plenty of food. Mm. I'm in a 1-bedroom apartment. It's small, but it's small, neat, It's, it's neat and clean. Now, see, there you go. You already got a thing. You can't share a bathroom. Check this out. I'm not getting ready to be wiping no piss because y'all keep missing the damn toilet. What is that thing? What is that? What is that? Why y'all stuff always end up on the floor? Yeah. Mouthpiece, I'm in a senior building. And it's small, but it's comfortable for me. I live within my means. I would have never envisioned myself in the year of 2014 2014, 24. You know. In the year of 2014, I lost my mom, and then I found out I had breast cancer after that. And from that point on, I had to make a whole lot of changes to my whole lifestyle. You know, I went from working, making big money, to the radiation damaging my body where I couldn't work and didn't have income for 3 years, but I'm still thankful. You know, I would have never thought I would ever be in a building, but it's all good. God bless the child that has his own. Because I got boundaries, and my boundaries is I ain't going to live with nobody. And then, you men, y'all don't know how to aim. Y'all don't know how to aim. Ain't that right, old head? So like me right now, like the way I live and with my health issues and my pain issues, like I only sleep 4 or 5 hours. I mean, and if I really want to sleep, you know, I have Xanax, and then I can go to sleep. But when I take that medicine, you know, I don't like to be so out of it where I can't hear anything. I got to be on my P's and Q's. If somebody out, you know, they come to my door, I got to, you know, I stay ready around here. So, and that's anywhere. I don't like to sleep so hard. I don't like that when I be done slept so hard. Women have more boundaries than men. I don't know. Because I know some men, like, they don't want the woman to wash their clothes. I know some men, they don't want nobody touching their grooming products, their shavers, their clippers. I know some men, they have all of they stuff, you know, in their bags or whatever. They don't want nobody touching their stuff. They know what they're going to put on their face, their cream, their lotion. Shoot, some men worse than women when it comes to this grooming thing now. Some men don't want you to use their clippers. Don't talk about the toenail clippers. Some men, you know, some men, they want people that's taking 2 and 3 showers a day. Some men make it a boundary, you know, I want to cook the meal every day. Some men want a good smelling woman. Okay, now you say don't walk on your grass. So what if I gotta cut through your lawn What if I gotta piss on your grass? What you gonna do? Some men, some men that's running their households. They want that structure and they want them boundaries. I want the kids to have their homework done. You know, they've teamed up with the wife and they set boundaries for their kids. Y'all gonna do y'all homework, then y'all gonna take y'all baths, then you might watch a TV program and go to bed. Oh, here you go. Don't touch my radio. See, that's what I'm saying. Some people don't want you to touch their TVs. They have all their remote control set. Don't touch my remote controls is some people boundaries. How you gonna be mad at them? Because they know if somebody else touched their remote control, they might hit a button and it's all over with. Oh, okay. So you just let people go in your refrigerator? Ooh, I know a lot of people boundaries is don't go in my refrigerator. See? Uh-oh. See, you don't want nobody touching your CDs. Hey, all heart, grit, and gun. So it's not, a lot of people say boundaries is control. No. Boundaries is, this is my rules. This is what goes on. This how I do my shit over here. Oops, I'm trying not to curse. This is how we do my stuff. This is how I do my stuff. This is how I live my life for my peace, for my protection, for my safety. This is, due to past experiences, I've created these boundaries, because, a lot of people got past experiences, shoot. That's why folks don't keep their colognes and stuff in the bathrooms. You had people over and the cologne came up missing. They go through, cologne is missing. I mean, we got to keep this a buck. But it's all kind of boundaries. Even physical boundaries. When people say they need their own space right now. Or if people don't want to talk right now. You can't make somebody talk. Relationship, cell phone boundaries. Boy, let me tell you. Oh, my God. When we go over to my uncle's, like, I have two on my maternal side. I've got, actually two living uncles, but one of them has been in my life all my life. The other one I really don't know. Let me tell you, when we go over to his house, because, like, they'll have game night, right? And we go over there and we play all kind of games, and then we do, play a little bit of pity pat and do a little bit of gambling. And let me tell you something. My uncle don't play that. You can't be on your cell phones. Don't be asking to use the charges. He say, where the money at for on my electricity bill. He said people can't even get in the door good, and everybody asking where's the phone charger at. And if you don't get off your phone, he will politely ask you to leave his house. My 80-something-year-old uncle, he don't play that stuff. Everybody on their cell phones, ain't nobody talking to each other. So that's his boundary. All heart, grit, and grind. Do you have boundaries? Okay, yeah. See, you got some. And it's not a control thing. It's just, this is what I've set in my life. This is like a rule. I'm not trying to control you. I just need you to respect my boundaries. And the people have set boundaries. You're supposed to respect them. Yeah. But, so this is a quick little video. Hold on. Hey.
What if there was a technology where humans could live like animals by pretending to be an animal?
This is like Avatar.
Imagine you created a beautiful garden, but you notice people walking through the grass, littering, or even picking the flowers you've grown. So you put up a fence to mark what is your space, and you now decide who can come in through the gate. This is how we would protect our garden, and is also how we should protect ourselves, by setting boundaries. Boundaries are limits we set for ourselves within relationships, be they romantic, professional, friends, or family. You want to clearly see where you end and someone else begins.
I describe boundaries like a roadmap of me showing you how best to have a relationship with me. It is me clearly expressing and communicating my values and preferences because I want you in my life.
Some examples of boundaries are physical boundaries, what you are comfortable with in terms of your own space and your own body. Emotional boundaries, what you are comfortable with sharing and what you would like to keep private. And time boundaries, how you would like to prioritize your own time and where you would like to take time to rest.
An example of a request would be, please stop raising your voice. An example of a boundary would be, if you continue to raise your voice, I'm leaving. That would be me clearly expressing my thoughts and feelings, being aware of what I'm responsible for, and being aware that I don't need to explain my no.
Boundaries are something that everyone can benefit implementing in their life because they not only protect our time and energy, they also protect our relationships. They prevent miscommunication, misunderstandings, and build up resentment. But what about when someone doesn't respect the boundary?
What's often difficult for people is what to do when somebody violates or oversteps a boundary. And if we use the earlier example that if somebody was to raise their voice at me, I am responsible for protecting myself. A lot of people fall into rescuing or fixing the other person, whereas that is up to me to protect myself. And if you continue to raise your voice at me, I leave.
If you feel like you need support, please contact your local mental health services.
Yeah, boundaries do. It helps reduce your stress. But like I say, people want to think your boundaries or your stance is about them. Or, no, I ain't got to compromise. This is my boundary.
Today we're talking about personal boundaries, the invisible lines that define the edges of who we are. Personal boundaries help us navigate in the world. Knowing and managing where we end and the other person begins is essential to living a satisfying and healthy life. But when our boundaries are crossed, it can make us feel stressed, confused, and anxious. And as with most things to do with our brains, boundaries aren't one size fits all. We each set our own boundaries to allow some people to come close or to keep others at a distance. People can violate your boundaries in a number of ways. When someone does this, it's a big red flag. For example, if someone makes you feel like you don't have the right to your own individual thoughts and feelings, big red flag. Have you ever been told that you're responsible for someone else's bad behavior, violence, or abuse? A huge red flag. Or if someone always expects you to return texts or calls immediately, that's another red flag. Learning to manage our own boundaries is a necessary step in learning to love ourselves and others. When you set a boundary and the people in your life respect it, that's a huge sign that this is the type of person you want in your life. Like when someone asks your permission and doesn't force you into an uncomfortable situation, or when someone allows you to disagree with them without retaliation, or when you're allowed to say no to anything, including sex, drugs, parties, even requests for your time. When you're able to identify red and green flags, it allows you to strategically share your life with those around you. By strategic sharing, we mean that in every situation, you decide who has access to your body, mind, and personal information. With time and practice, you'll get better at being able to identify the red and green flags that define your personal boundaries. Through that process, you'll gain more trust in yourself and will be able to strategically share more of your life with the people around you that you know you can trust.
I want to be rich. Wishing for more money? All you need is your phone.
You know, there you have it. You know, boundaries is for you, and yes, it does reduce your stress. And like I said, you know, if you have a boundary, that's like even on social media. I go into people's shows, I don't know who beefing, I don't care, I ain't trying to find out. I go in, I speak to people, I leave. If they don't like what I'm talking about, you know, even some things I used to try to challenge people, then I learned, like, you know, what they think might be their truth, it's not my truth. All I can do is speak on what I know and how I feel. You know, and when people don't respect me or throw me off, and I know I've lived through some stuff that I know to be the truth, you know, you've crossed the line. You've crossed the line. First, you didn't respect my boundary, especially if you come in my house or my show, and then you can't, you know, we can have disagreements to agree, and I know for me, like, I'm a pretty headstrong person. Yeah, boundaries is why the U.S. is failing. And I know me. That's why I stopped going to a lot of shows and talking. Because I had to realize that what I see now, everybody else don't see. So I had to get around like-minded people that's seeing what I'm seeing. Then I talk loud. Okay, I don't have hearing in one ear. I have 10% hearing. I have hearing aids. But, shoot, I can hear halfway down the street. I can't, these things. So therefore, I talk loud. That's why a lot of times be like, huh? You know. And it's not like I'm yelling, but people are taking like, why are you yelling? Well, when you're having a conversation, your voice tends to get loud. And then, like I say, I have 10% hearing in one ear. And I don't wear my hearing aids because I pick up the trains, I pick up everything around here. Everything that in this building, I hear everything two and three floors down. Then they so thin. So, and that's what I say. You know, people, they don't know, ain't no, you know, I can't hear. This was another result of what cancer did to me, my hearing. But I'm still here. So, old head, explain to me why the U.S. is failing because of boundaries. I think the U.S. is failing because we expect people, just because other people are ignorant, we want to co-sign everybody else's ignorant behavior. Yeah. Let me see. Little hearing aids. Ooh, right there. So, you know, I got sick of hearing, why you yelling, why you talking, when we be on delay a lot of times. Yeah. And then our voice gets louder. Yeah. Oh yeah, putting strange books in school, all in your child's education. Yeah. Well, this is what I'm saying. You know, these are the things people need to be worried about. What they're teaching the kids now. We fought. The government says you can't collect rainwater now? Are you serious? You might not want to collect it. We don't know what's in it. Hey, did you see where our number one guy, Bill Gates, frequent man over there on Epstein's Island? And they're now trying to say, Fauci was over there too, and shoot, the way they telling it, they allegedly, invented that thing that we had to take the jab. Oh man, old head. Here in Joliet, Illinois, kids walked out of school to protest immigrations. And not one of them carried an American flag. Oh yeah, all of this stuff, gender, that's why I would never vote Democratic again. Anytime you allow kids to change their gender and let them take hormones, I can't do that. We all have a boundary. We all have something that we just not for. And it could be one thing. And that one thing with me was allowing kids to be able to change their gender and take the drugs. Yeah, no boundaries, right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank God that they finally, different states started taking different states to drugs. States had to actually go to court, get laws passed restricting or banning gender-affirming medical care for minors, making it a felony. They were letting kids take puberty blocker hormones. The states had to go to court to get this stuff changed. Do you know at one point in time, if your child told you they wanted to change their sex, And if the parent didn't agree, they could go to the teacher. The teacher didn't have to notify the parent, and they went along with that BS. See, I talk facts. I had people tell me, oh, that's only a few states. No. When them Democrats was in office, the floodgates of hell was open, in my opinion, with this. I know. hmm People had to actually take states to court to get it reversed. Then you got some states where you didn't even have to put a gender on the birth certificate. I know thank God that time is over with. So that's another reason. Me, the beautiful April Showers, I would never, ever vote Democratic ever again in my life. Ever again in my life when they allowed this stuff. The only reason a lot of states changed their mind was because all of the pediatricians had gotten together and they were sending in reports saying this ain't good. Yeah, thank God that time is done with. But some states are still fighting it. Hmm. Okay, yeah, I'm getting ready to end the show because I done took some pain meds. See, you've got this shield law, what they call shield law states, which is still going on now, where if kids want to change their gender and the parents are divorced or something, and one parent consents and says, my child, they can go ahead with it. They won't care what the other parent says. They even allow kids what they call emancipation, where if they're age 14 to 17, they can be independent from their parents, so they can get their gender affirming care without parental consent. Nah. But anyway, that's another one of my boundaries. You know, my boundary, I'll never vote Democratic again long as kids can be able to take hormone therapy or puberty blockers or change their genders, and they don't have to tell their parents, or they can tell somebody else, or in some states the parents, they will lock them up if they don't go along with it. But anyway, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I want to thank those that are going to listen to the replay. I want to thank all those that stopped in the chat. I hope you learned something tonight about oh, hold on. About setting boundaries so your peace can be protected. Like, homie, we don't play that over here. These are our boundaries here. These are our boundaries in our house. These are my boundaries as a woman. These are my boundaries on a job. These are my boundaries on social media. And these are just my boundaries to protect my peace. If I ask you, not to curse, drink, smoke, around me, can you please stop doing it? And the person continuously does it. And I say, well, I choose not to be around you because you're not trying to respect my boundaries. If I set the boundary is I don't want to talk about something right now, I don't have to talk about it right now. If I set the boundary that I don't go to lunch with my coworkers, I didn't come to work to make friends or go to any after-work activities. I just came to work to do a job. Don't make it about you. No, I ain't stuck up. I'm protecting my peace from you two-faced to four-faced people. I go out and have one drink with y'all. You get to work the next day. all kind of rumors and stories been started, you know? A lot of boundaries are set now to protect people's peace of mind and their stance. And if they have made a boundary or a stance, it should be respected. It's not about what you think. It's about respecting. That's their stance. It ain't about you. It's about them. Uh-oh. Ronan, you said, I don't like to talk until I gather my thoughts. Women always try to make you talk. Well, that's true, too. And a lot of times, you know, like, for instance, and this is a prime example, weddings and funerals, oh my gosh, will bring out the worst in people. Okay? And sometimes you just have to go with the flow, keep your mouth shut, especially if it ain't your family. Don't give your input because it ain't your family. And keep your mouth shut because other people don't need you in their business when it comes to their family business. Or some people don't want to talk about it. Just because a person ain't going around, it ain't nobody's business. Well, why they brother, why they sister ain't over here? Everybody deals with grief differently. Maybe some people have a hard time talking about it. And then a lot of times when people have had arguments, you know, and they say, don't talk to me right now. I'm mad and I'm upset. I don't want to say the wrong thing, because when people are mad, they might say the wrong thing. Okay? You might be everything but a child of God. And when that person says the wrong things, then you got to look at them and some of the things they said. Did they say them out of anger? Or this is how they really feel about me? So that's why a lot of times, you know, when people say, let's not talk about this right now, you might want to take heed, because you might hear something you don't want to hear. And you might hear something that might make you think, that is this how they really feel? But a lot of people say stuff out of anger when they're hurting and when they're grieving. So sometimes, you know, you have to sit back and let people gather their thoughts. And sometimes you just let people win just to win, because you realize the argument ain't worth it. But then when they say, oh, they can't talk to you because you said this or you said that. You show the facts. You know. And you don't need to be around people if they're challenging you or overstepping their boundaries where they always have to be right. But they want to always be right with what they say, but what you say, you're wrong. You don't need them type of people around you. So anyway, I tell people when they say they set their boundaries or I don't fool with them because, you know, they didn't respect my boundaries. I get it. I get it. Because you should respect people's boundaries. It ain't about you. You have to respect other people and how they feel. But anyway, everybody have a great night. My pain may have started to kick in, so I'm ready to go to sleep. I'm trying to see B Sparrow and I don't know tomorrow if we'll be on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, because I'm going to be doing more lives from other platforms now. So, thank you, old head. Thank you, All Heart Grit and Grind. Thank you, Mouthpiece. Thank you, everybody. You know. And I want all of you content creators to keep supporting each other. Keep sharing people's shows. I'm going to keep doing that. You know. You respect me, I respect you. You respect me, you know. But don't push me because I'm close to the edge like everybody else. Especially when I've been quiet on certain things. You know. Especially when I don't, you know. I've never went around and talked about any of these content creators. Even when people was calling some creepy, weird, why they doing this, why they doing that. And I thought, I've always said, and I'm going to say this again, if I go to anybody's shows, I don't like the topic, the conversation, or whatever. And I used to try to go in and say, well, you wrong because I know this. I can just leave. I don't have to prove what I know to anybody. I don't have to prove what I've lived through with anybody. Hey, Shatika. How you doing? You know, I can just, you know, I live this life. And let me tell you, the older you get, you're going to find yourself setting more boundaries. Let's see. And so, you know, you're going to find yourself setting more boundaries. And it's for your peace of mind. I got enough, you know. I got health issues. Ain't nobody getting ready to disturb my peace. And ain't nobody gonna stop me from coming on YouTube, saying what I want to say on what I believe or my stuff. I was a shining star, so I don't need nobody's approval. Good morning, Shatika. How you doing? God is good. Y'all know what? This stuff right here. I tell you, oh my God. This stuff is so addictive. So Shatika, you can go. And so I did on I'm getting tired now. Boundaries. Setting boundaries. Setting, you know. Remember, people, everybody that comes in your life is not meant to stay. I have my lifelong friends I've been friends with since high school. Everybody that you meet, some people come in your life for lessons. Some people come in your life for blessings. And some people come in your life to show you that no good people still exist. Some people come into your life to let you know that it's all about them type of people that exist. Some people come in your life to let you know that if you don't dance to other people's music or think the way they want to think, you know, well, they don't respect your stance on something. You know, you don't have to argue with anybody. Peace be still. And I want to say this too. Just because other people act ignorant, that's from the president of the White House to people in the streets, to your family, to your friends. That don't mean their behavior that we're supposed to think it's okay to excuse other people's behavior. Everybody can't be running around ignorant. are acting ignorant, or just because they did this, then we giving passes to other people. So, let that be food for thought. Just because another person acts ignorant and does ignorant stuff and says ignorant things, that don't mean that gives the right for you to defend or compare somebody else. That don't mean you have to become ignorant too. And with that being said, everybody, you enjoy your Wednesday. And have a great Wednesday. And I cannot wait until spring comes. Peace, love, and hair grease from April Showers. I'm out.